And we are live. Thank you very much for joining. Marinos, Nikolai, Theodoros, Luisa. It's been a pleasure having you with us in this first webinar that we do in HostingB2B. So HostingB2B is a very newly established company with a long-term experience in hosting solutions and private solutions, custom tailored solutions for gaming clients, Forex clients, and currently we are focusing on the cybersecurity products that we are launching alongside with Acronis, and they are Cybersecurity Cloud Essentials product. So in this webinar, we will be discussing the three elements that the pandemic forced us to make, and the elements are the teleworking and remote working as we know it in these last 6 or 9 months. Teleworking, many companies now that we are facing since the pandemic started are moving their operations through teleworking. But teleworking has its own strengths and weakness. Some of the strengths that we will focus with Nikolai's assistance today, and some of the other we will discuss with Marinos as an executive action, and what are the challenges that he faced managing his brand through the pandemic. And thank God that all will finish very soon, and we can continue going back to our business normality. So Marinos, I will start with you, introducing you as a director, a friend, of course. As an executive, tell us a bit about you, your brand, what you represent, and we move forward to the questions discussing.
Okay. First of all, thank you for the invitation. And just to get into us and what we do, our organization, pretty much, and in very simple words, what we do is categorized under two main categories. One of which, and this is the one which I am specialized, is the corporate services that we offer, and the management of companies and their assets as well, and more specifically anything that has to do with company incorporation, bank account opening, licensing, online gaming licensing, which is one of our core services as well, and anything else that has to do with the company from the moment that you incorporate the company up to the point that you want to liquidate and close down the company. That's the one main category, let's say. The other main category is the accounting and the audit side of things, which is a legal obligation for every Cyprus company, and not only Cyprus companies. Lately, we have seen that with increased compliance all over the world, even offshore companies have to carry out audits and accountings and so on and so forth. This, of course, includes the tax advice, and when it comes to international clients, international tax advice and international tax planning as well, and anything in general, let's say, that has to do with consultancy and business advice. So essentially, what we offer and what we try to offer is the one-stop shop for our clients, and in this particular case, the international clients who have no one else to carry out their business in Cyprus. We are the A to Z point, let's say, when it comes to their businesses in Cyprus. So pretty much, yeah, this is what we do. Obviously, the pandemic has affected everyone. Some positively, some negatively, some combination of the two. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions specifically that have to do with the pandemic and its side effects.
Thank you, Marinos. Thank you for your detailed explanation about your company and services. So once the pandemic started, I know from a first standpoint that you and your company with more than 30 people faced to some new challenges after the economic crisis of 2014 in Cyprus. So tell us a bit about this new experience. I mean, as a corporate service provider, it's under my presence that I can see a lot of guys with the suits, accounting officers, corporate women's lawyers with the
yeah.
There are some formalities in your industry which you don't see them, I mean, in other industries like our, for example, you see Nikolai, IT people can work remotely almost from everywhere. So tell us about this new experience that you have.
You are very correct in the way that corporate people are being dressed, let's say, differently. However, more formally, I mean. However, this is now, to my surprise as well, due to the situation all over the world, this is now changing, and we as more formal dressed, let's say, professionals, we are now forced to work from home, not meet with clients, and in general, minimize our face-to-face contact with other people. Therefore, this inevitably has led us to think more like you guys, let's say, of the IT industry, and treat our business and what we do more informal, let's say. And when I say informal, I mean not in terms of professionalism, of course, but in terms of dressing and the way that we conduct our business. So yes, we have moved to the less formal way of working, and this is not only obviously clothes, but also work from home. We have had a lot of staff, as you said before. We have over 30 members of staff in our firm, and especially in the heavy lockdown, at least half of the staff were working from home. If it was possible, all of the staff were going to work from home, but unfortunately, our nature of business, and more specifically in the accounting services, is not so easy to work from home. Not only IT wise and so on, but also a lot of times, especially with local businesses, people still need to bring some original evidence to you, let's say, for bookkeeping and so on and so forth. So we had maximum up to half of our staff working from the office, but the rest were working from home. And I believe that this is not going to stop anytime soon, not necessarily due to the pandemic, but now that, many times before, there were cases that people had to work from home either because they were sick any kind of flu or whatever, or maybe they were, especially with women, when they are pregnant, and maybe sometimes they have some pregnancy issues and so on, and they have to stay at home instead of traveling, through the commute and so on. So on these occasions in the future, obviously, when there is availability and the ability, let's say, from the medical perspective, or any other situation, people will continue to work from home. It's not like before, where the work from home, for us at least, it was an idea far along from here. And that's, I think, one of the positive things of the pandemic. This is one of the positive things, and I hope that all of the businesses like ours are IT advanced, let's say, to work from home, because it's very important, especially for Cyprus, which is not, let's just say, is not the best, the most developed IT country in the world.
So managing, as you said, more than 30 people of staff, your company is very reputable here in Cyprus. So managing different groups and team leaders. I mean, you do meetings almost every day with the sort of people engaging. One day I came into your office and you were like mobile and desk phone and emails. So what was the most challenging part? I mean, that now you don't have your team leader right next to the next office or the below floor. What was the most challenging part?
The most challenging part, I think, it was not only to manage and overview the staff in the lower level, the juniors, but also to understand and evaluate the staff on the management level, the managers, whether they have been efficient enough, whether they were able to solve issues with their staff remotely, and this was, I think, the most challenging part for us, for the top management, let's say. But what I realized is that there are, surprisingly or not, there are managers and staff that they may even be able to work more efficiently remotely instead of the office. This is what I understood, I concluded. But still, on the other side, there are staff that they cannot do so well remotely, and they need to be in the office. So if I should distinguish the proportion of those, I would say probably 50 of the staff, they are more efficient remotely, and 50 they are less efficient remotely.
Okay, so that's something that fascinated you. So maybe we see companies in the near future doing a hybrid workforce mode. That could save also a lot of office space in your company. That will save the company a lot of money in rental agreements, in office supplies, IT supplies, and things like that. So tell us a bit more about the market you represent. How did the market respond? I mean, is it business as usual, or you see a trend to decrease in terms of economy of scale and business productivity?
In terms of market being as usual, definitely not as usual. The market is definitely not the same as it used to be before the pandemic. However, on the other hand, and I'm now talking from my perspective and from the Cyprus, let's say, point of view. What I have noticed is not that the decline and the diminishing, let's say, of all the industries and the markets and so on. What I have noticed is that the rate of growth has decreased. This is my perspective based on mostly on the international business, because if we're going to talk about the local businesses and the local industries, when it comes to tourism, for example, we are tourism in all over the world, not in Cyprus. We are looking at close to zero numbers in all.
90%.
So, and hopefully this is going to be only for that year. So if we take the whole picture as a whole, my conclusion is that the rate of growth has decreased, not the economy has shrinked, let's say, especially if I compare it with the last credit crunch back in 2008 going onwards. So we are not there yet, and hopefully we will not get there. This is my understanding.
Okay, thank you very much. Going forward, what are your personal thoughts? I mean, how do you see the financial aspect of the economy first? I want you to comment. And also, in terms of the business operations, I mean, the remote work is here to stay, or is something that after the pandemic will calm, we see that the trend coming back to normal? Do you need your staff right next to you, or can you do without them and manage them remotely and efficiently with the tools that we will discuss later with Nikolai?
I believe the remote working, yes, is here to stay. Yes. Me personally, I would say that I don't need all of my stuff for sure next to me, let's say, but I need my key stuff next to me. I have to be honest with that. However, as I said before, everybody is now more flexible in working from home than any time ever before. And again, I'm talking about my industry, because you guys you were from day one that you started your profession very flexible in working from home. Yes, we're definitely looking forward to take advantage, let's say, of this good thing that the pandemic gave us, and it's the so-called remote working. Now, in terms of how I see things going on in the future, I would say that this thing is here to stay, first of all. And secondly, I believe that within a couple of years from now, I believe we will get back to normal, maybe not exactly where we were before, but hopefully very close to where we used to be, back in, I don't know, end of 19, let's say, something like that. But I don't think this growth or this, this change is going to happen in the next few months. It's going to take a couple of years.
Okay, thank you, Marinos. And Nikolai, just before I start with you, we'll take a 1 or 2 minute break to send some invitations over. Maybe we can get some more attendees, which are from the ones that they register. And we will be back in the stage with you and discussing of, as an IT professional, how Acronis can help in managing the cybersecurity portfolio or through the platform that you do with the Acronis Cyber Cloud. Okay?
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
See you in 2 minutes. And we are live back again with Nikolai from Acronis. This time we are discussing remote work essentials for IT professionals. So Nikolai, tell us about you, who you are and your current background with Acronis.
Yeah, I'm a solutions engineer, meaning that I deal with the technical aspects of our products, and I focus on cloud products. I work directly with service providers, for example, who in turn offer some services from Acronis to the customers, to their customers, and I help them decide which parts of the products are the most suitable, how they can actually use our solutions to increase revenue and to help their customers grow. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both.
Okay. In the early 2020s, just before the pandemic, just to let you know also, I'm also an Acronis certified engineer. I know the Acronis product very, very, very well, and I use it for my infrastructure, ensuring business continuity plans are met, and ISO 27001 policies that we tend to keep on information security. So in the early 2020, just before the pandemic, I remember my previous account manager from Acronis informed me about the cyber cloud platform with the cybersecurity focus more oriented rather than backup oriented that we know it from Acronis. So in my surprise, during the global pandemic, Acronis was ready, willing, and able, and launching a top-notch cybersecurity platform, which allowed us to be cyber fit and to use an international brand, which for many years his name was #1 backup software, with the cybersecurity umbrella now as a complete product for the end clients. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so in fact, we've traditionally been focusing on backup for like 20 years almost, but not so well. Actually, several years ago, we realized that backups themselves are not enough to protect the environment. So a few examples, maybe 10 years ago, the main threat was that the hard drive would fail, right? And then you lose your data, you need to back it up. And now the reason partners and customers come to us often is that we had like 2 ransomware attacks in as many weeks, and we had to pay Bitcoin, or we lost some customer, and we want to prevent this from happening again. And so we realized that instead of just offering a backup, we need to offer a comprehensive solution to protect the data at multiple levels if we want to be named kind of a backup and cybersecurity solution. And so we took our existing product, backup cloud, and we added that cybersecurity functionality. So if well, I'm not gonna show you the a comprehensive demo, but I want to show you actually what we added, right? Just a little glance at
you can share your screen.
console. Yes, I can share my screen and show you what we have as compared with a regular backup offering, right? So give me a second to share the screen right here. So hopefully you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
yeah.
We are live.
Yeah, so this is actually the Cyber Console. It is cloud-based, first of all, right? So it's kind of, again, talking about remote work and being able to control everything. This is essential for dealing with people spread over the offices and remote offices, homes, and so you have this website essentially at Acronis that you can use to see all the devices, all the workloads you have both in your environment and in your remote workers environment. What we introduced is this, the backup we used to have, right? You decide what you want to back up, and you make sure you do backup this to the cloud, for example. You can restore it. So it's all traditional. But what we introduced is being able to back up continuously, right? It's not once a day, but important data will be backed up in a continuous fashion. And importantly, we introduced this antivirus and anti-malware protection. So we specifically protect against ransomware. We protect against the malware that tries to encrypt your data. We will block that malware, and even if it managed to encrypt something, we will restore from a cache we have. We have antivirus, right? That scans your system and that scans the backups. Another problem is the websites, the malicious websites, like phishing websites, and they are becoming harder to control, because if someone works from office, yes, the IT administrator can actually define some policies, right? But if you're not in control over an old laptop that someone is using to access the corporate resources. Yeah.
So what are the, I mean, you mentioned before about the ransomware. So what cybersecurity trends, I mean, you must have access to many of Acronis clients and providers. So what are the trends now? Are they ransomware? What are the hackers doing?
In fact, you see this also in our threat feed. We collect that information in real time around the world. We have like 3 cyber protection centers that maintain threat information. Yes, based on our feedback, the malware related to COVID is on the rise, and different phishing websites, right? Someone purporting to offer you something, right? COVID related. So this is really now on the rise, and these are, and likewise general malware or ransomware. So the ultimate goal is to penetrate those weakened systems of home users, right, and infect them before infecting the corporate environment. So what we recommend and what we offer is protecting those endpoints, right, protecting that single point of failure against something that is popular today in terms of COVID.
Yes, so URL filtering, URL manipulation. So if we add the Acronis, tell us about also the disaster recovery feature. That is, I mean, for me, is ideally that's a top-notch product.
Yes, so this is another value, disaster recovery here. So obviously you need to have a backup, but if something goes wrong, I mean, you store that backup, but in order to use it, you need something to recover that data, right? And sometimes your entire office may be unavailable. Sometimes you can lose a device, a server, and it will take a couple of days to restore it. Sometimes the backup is large and you cannot waste time restoring it. So that's why we indeed have disaster recovery. So for disaster recovery, you tell us that, okay, this server is important for me. I want to not only to back it up, but I also want to reserve some space in our data center so that if something goes wrong with the server, I immediately spin it up in the data center of Acronis. It takes about a minute, even if the backup is large, and you can work with it, right? Imagine that you have your failed server, its replica here on the right. On the left, you still have the environment, your office, your remote workers, your office workers. They all can still work with that server, let's say an accounting server, web server,
So
as if nothing happened.
What is, I mean, if you use the continuous backup, as you mentioned before, and the disaster recovery feature, that means, I mean, literally, you don't lose anything. You never lose anything.
That's correct. So that's our goal, yes, to make sure that
So,
you have zero data loss. Yeah.
You and us, I mean, in regards to that, we are able to guarantee not 99.93% uptime. We are able to guarantee 100% uptime through different solutions, and solutions that they are available for you on demand. So you don't have to spend a lot of fortune in acquiring a space in another data center or doing your. So it's a simple click, as you showed before. Nikolai, this is very interesting. Tell us one last thing about your personal thoughts going forward, and what else shall we expect from Acronis in the following years?
Well, so there's a strategic goal and the tactical goals. The strategic goal is to protect everything that is important, right? And what is important now is the Internet of Things. Attacks coming not only from computers but also from, toasters, fridges. So something small, and we need to protect that. We are going to be more proactive in supporting different aspects of cyber protection. Now we are protecting against viruses and ransomware. In the future, we may be providing some remote access tools for workers, right, like secure VPN and firewall. And we will be tracking data loss prevention, so that people can work from anywhere while being safe, that their sensitive data is not being leaked by to some malware. So I guess this will be the direction.
Okay. Well, Nikolai, as the CEO of HostingB2B, and I would like to personally thank you for this exhibition. For sure, it will be a next series of events describing the Acronis product in its full core, with the live demonstrations, a full backup portfolio, Active Directory, Office 365. So we'll stay in touch definitely. And Marinos, also thank you very much for attending, always supporting as a friend and client, and we are very grateful to have you with us. And gentlemen, this video will be live on YouTube, also in our channel. So if you like to subscribe, and stay safe, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.